All right, guys, welcome to our call. It is Monday's Rock with the Alleman Group. I'm Mike Alleman.
And I'm Michelle Alleman.
Okay, y'all let us know that we're doing good there. Hey, got some good people on the call. Hey, listen, we do this call every Monday night. It is for our team. That's our base shop. That's people inside of our organization. I know tonight we got a special guest on. I know a lot of y'all are fired up to hear from her, but we're going to get to that in a second. What has been excited about this weekend for you? I mean, like what's your tell everybody like
oh my goodness,
how this business is working right now.
What are you wanting me to talk about, Mike?
I don't know, just talk about something. I got some things.
Man, I am so excited because we have this I feel like we have this energy within the whole alliance right now. If you're watching Band, if you're watching our Slack channel, you're seeing people post when we make sales on the phone because we want you guys to know about it. I just made 5 more sales today in the last 2 or 3 hours, really. I was just actually trying to finish the e-applications as we were speaking.
And I called her and I said, you got to come do this call real quick.
And I called someone back over the weekend that got declined. Of course, we hate when that happens. But the good news is I said, Willie, here's what we're going to have to do. She said, okay. So that was a phone sale that I made on Saturday. And I saw the message on Saturday when it came through, and I was like, oh, you know how you feel when that happens? Oh. And then
you submit something and it comes back and say decline, bam.
Yeah, it just like sucks the wind out of you. But today I had more. Today I was like, okay, today's a new day. I get to call Miss Willie and get her something else that she can get approved for. And that's what I did. And so I was working on that too. That'll be make number 6.
That's just the power of what we're doing. And look, guys, I know right now everybody's on lockdown, thinking about like, what are we going to be doing? When are we going to get back to normal? By the way, those of y'all that are missing out right now on the Alaskan cruise, like, if you want it, you're like, oh no, can't do it anymore. Royal Caribbean, I just got to tell you this because it's like one of my secret passions, or whatever you want to call it.
Mike loves to travel.
Obsessions, right? So. And so Royal Caribbean's right now actually doing virtual cruises. And this week, right now, they're doing the virtual cruise in Alaska. And I was just listening to it a little bit before I got on here. They do like the regular morning show. If you've ever been on a ship, they do like this morning show where the cruise director's on and you can watch them on channel and all this fun stuff. They got a guy doing it just like it's on a regular ship.
I had no idea. See what he does, y'all? See what he does?
They got like the compass, the daily thing that tells you all the things going on. They got trivia and all that stuff. And I say all that is like, hold on to the belief that we're getting back to normal. So we're having a conversation with friends this weekend, and you're like, what does that normal look like? Well, I can assure you, everybody's going to be getting their temperature took. It looks like I probably need a temperature took because I got a little bit much sun on my head. But that's probably going to be the biggest thing that we'll notice, and if you have a cough, everybody's going to scatter. But, and I know it's a serious thing because there are a lot of people that are dying from it right now.
Well, what I'm most excited about is these social leads and more of our team getting them and going out and just learning how to do it. And that's why we have a special guest on today.
Yeah. Well, before we do that, I'm going to just remind everybody, don't forget, we got Thailand coming up. Like, this is what's crazy about it. Like right now, this month, people can like leap forward faster than they've ever done before, right? And get more points towards this trip right here. Thailand, Phuket, Thailand, and Chiang Mai. I swear there are people that probably going into this year, they're like, ain't no way I'm going to win Chiang Mai. I might win Phuket, but I'm not going to win Chiang Mai. And guess what? This last month, this episode is changing a lot of things about how we do business. And I think that's a big part of it, right?
It is huge.
And so, so let's, don't forget, turn in your numbers. Okay. Get your numbers in. We want to see your dials. You should see this when you log into your ARC but you got to put your numbers in. Okay. If you need to know how to do that, just go to allemanfinancial.com/submit. And I got a nice little video shows you what to do. Okay. Make sure you get those in because we got our team call. We got our sales meeting call first thing in the morning, 10 o'clock Central Time, and we need those numbers in ASAP. So as soon as we hang up, I'm not going to call y'all names, but I'm looking at you on the screen. All right. Get those numbers in because I know some of y'all we got a call every Tuesday morning. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. So why don't you introduce a little bit about our guests? I got a few bullet points here.
Sure. So, oh my goodness, this is great.
I got y'all. I got you there. Look at that.
Belle and Jake Crause. We have known them for about 3.5 years.
That's
now. And I'm so excited to have her on the call. Just wanted to have her go over, what she's doing. I want you guys to ask her questions. Feel free to ask her questions. This is a woman who detonated bombs for
a living
for the military,
yeah.
for you and I, for the military.
Yeah, every one of us would be running. She'd be going in with a big suit.
And she spoke at the ladies conference. She speaks on stage. She's one of the top producers. She wins all the trips. Her and her husband Jake, who used to fly helicopters in the military for Osama bin Laden. I'll let you tell more, Belle, but we've just had more fun together. We got to go spend a little time at the cabin at Andy and Jane's cabin back in November of last year with just a few of us ladies. And we had more fun than a barrel of monkeys. I'm telling you.
Barrel of monkeys.
So,
hey, just a few stats from her because I got these numbers off the thing today. So, agency managers, they got the rings. We're fired up about you guys getting the rings, right? In March, and she'll tell you how she did this. 48 apps for $42,917, and I'm sure there's some change in there. That, guys, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of y'all that, like, if you had a team, you'd be like, I'm happy about that. This is one person, y'all. You just is fired up about it, and she's going to tell you how she's doing it. Just this last full week of March, 15 applications for 13,000. These are just incredible numbers. And so, Belle, you're out there. We see you. Come in here and take a few minutes and line them up. Michelle probably ask you some questions.
And talk to us a little bit about how you're embracing the telesales, kind of some of your struggles. And I'm sure some of our team is going to get on and ask some questions. Y'all can text me or text Mike because he's got his iPad open in here. I don't have mine open right now.
She's going through withdrawals, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
So we want you guys to get your questions answered because we want you to get out there and do some of this too. So,
all right, Belle, light us up.
Well, thank you guys so much for inviting me on here. It's kind of like hero worship when Michelle Alleman contacts you and say, hey, can you come speak on our team call? Because, from day one, she's been someone I've wanted to emulate, someone I wanted to build my alliance career after. And so you guys are so blessed to have her as your leader, as your mentor, her and Mike. They give so much to the alliance as a whole, but you guys have a special place being directly on their team. And that's very, very awesome to be invited on here. And so just a little background, that picture that they have up there, that was taken in Paris. Jake and I had gotten invited to a special dinner with the CFG leadership team there in Paris. And that's when that happened. So, we've had the blessing to build these relationships with Mike and Michelle over the last 3.5, almost 4 years. We went to, the COTA racetracks in October together, along with a group, a much smaller group that did go out to the cabin and out to Hartford, Connecticut, to Nassau Re back this past winter. So a lot of great opportunities to just live life alongside each other, do fun stuff. And I guess that's what gets me going in the morning, is the pursuit of just an enriched life, not just for myself, not just for our team, but for the clients that I serve as well. And so the month of March was a bit of a challenge for me. Some of the first coronavirus cases were here in Washington, out in Kirkland, actually in the same town where Joe Walker lives. You guys probably know Joe Walker. He's part of the Fitz team. Not too far from here. And so a lot of people early on started getting skittish about people coming over. And so my first week of March was pretty strong because we were hearing about the virus. A few people had it. And so a lot of people were thinking about their mortality. Now, we all know that none of us are going to live forever. It's just sometimes certain events make people think about that fact. And this is one of those events that make people think about it. And so that first week was really good out there working and got a lot of strong applications in. Second week, we had a lot more people not having visitors. They just weren't letting people in. And so second week wasn't as strong in March. And so I told Andy, I said, hey, I'm putting a camp chair in the back of my car. And if I have to run it from the front porch, through the glass door, through the screen door, I'll do whatever it takes. And then the third week of March came along, and that was a gut punch out here, because not only was nobody like really letting people in, we got our stay home order pretty early on out here. And so I had to figure out how to transition before most of the country did, because again, the timeline out here in Washington State and the Seattle area was just a little bit ahead of the rest of the country. It's kind of rolled across. And so that third week of March, I'm telling you, it was brutal. I was trying to use the methodology that we had in place in an environment that it couldn't function anymore. And that was difficult. That was my first week of trying to book appointments. Like no one would see me. So I was trying to book it over the phone. I was trying to book it through video. And so what I was doing, I was making my dials like I normally did. And I scheduled the appointments, but for phone or video. And believe it or not, those people actually didn't want an appointment. They just wanted to get me off the phone. So when I called them for the appointment the next day, majority of them weren't there. And so in the pursuit of getting appointments, I made a lot more dials, and I started running appointments on the spot, which was a hot mess because I'd never done anything like that before. So that third week of March, I had, I believe it was 28 appointments booked. I ran 19 of them, but I only closed 3. And this is what I learned from that. When you get punched in the face enough, you learn how to block. And so don't fear the learning curve. It doesn't hurt like a actual punch in the face does. Kind of feels like at the end of the day, you're just, ay. But don't fear the learning curve. Just get through it quickly. And by quickly, it's volume, the amount of times you do it. So you can stretch it out over a long period of time, or you can just get through it quickly by doing a lot of volume and just get through it. Find out what obstacles you're going to face, because the objections you get might be different than the objections I got, or the objections Michelle got, or someone else got. But once you realize what objection you're getting, you can reach out for mentorship. You can reach out for training and coaching on how to overcome that. And so that third week was, it was a shot to the face. It was a blow to the ego. It was all that rolled into one. But it is what it is. And there's no shortcut for it. None of us are going to get around it. You've got to muddle your way through it. And thankfully, there's been a lot of training on that going on right now. And I love that about the Alliance. And Andy's leadership during this time has just, I served for 8 years in the Army. I know a good leader when I see them, and a good leader's character is proven in battle. And make no mistake, we are in battle, and Andy is fierce. He is fighting for us, he is fighting with us, and he is fighting alongside us. And so are the other leaders here in the company. That's why you're going to see people put their numbers out there and let you know what they're doing and what's working, what's not working. Chris Long did a lot of training. Paul Menachino has done a lot of training. Alex Abian's put a lot of videos up, a lot of content up. Everyone in the Alliance wants everyone else in the Alliance to succeed. Nobody's hoarding a secret sauce. Nobody's keeping a secret little, like, oh, I'll just use this type of lead, or I use this technique and no one else is going to know about it. I love just that cross-pollination. So things just like they bam, bam, bam. It rolls from East Coast to West Coast and back again all throughout the day. There are meetings going on all throughout the day as things are working and as things are evolving. And it's just that speed of information, that speed of education. And so a lot of that learning curve has now been handled by a lot of the training that's out there. And so the one thing none of us can do for you is give you the experience. You're going to have to go out there and get that. And don't be ashamed of it. Don't be afraid of it. Just go get it done and be proud of it. Be proud of your battle scars. Be proud that you joined the fight alongside of us. Stand there arm in arm with us and say, I took my licks. I'm here to stay. I can do this too because others are doing it. And I just get so fired up thinking about it because once you figure it out, that's what happened to me that last week of March. I figured it out. Not perfect. It's still a hot mess. Here's the thing about telesales. There's going to be no shows. There's going to be no sales. There's going to be some closes, right? And so the same sort of things. The people are the people. The only thing that's changing is our method of communicating with them. Once we can effectively use our methods, well, we still have the same group of people on the other side. And so don't be intimidated by that. Just recognize it's all part of the success story. And so that last week of March, was able to do 15 applications for over 13,000, but 13 of those were telesales. And once you start getting success with that, you start getting your confidence back. And once you get your confidence back, that goes through in your professionalism. It's just like going to the doctor. You want a confident doctor. You don't want a doctor who's intimidated by your symptoms, you know. And so I'm very grateful that Andy has adapted things here for us.
Keyboard.
Adapted the tools, and it just helped us train and get better. And so I'm just fired up to be here alongside of winners. And I'm really fired up. There's always room for more winners. No one has to move. No one has to retire for there to be room for more. So Michelle, I don't know if that's what you and Mike were looking for, but I'm pretty excited to just be here and help out. And if there's questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Perfect. I know we have a few questions, Belle, and you know, a couple of things like what when you are doing your appointments on the fly, how long do you feel like they take? I know that you are not scheduling them, so you don't have to worry about scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get up and you start dialing, what time do you start? What time do you end?
Okay. So typically when I don't have like a training on the schedule, we have some early morning trainings that we're doing out here, but I'm very blessed to be on the West Coast. So those get knocked out very early. So I usually start calling on my appointments types of dials. I try to start that by no later than 7:30. I want to be on there early because I want to get as much done in a day as I can. So I can start earlier in the day, especially if you have your final expense leads. Those are the people that are generally up earlier in the day and may not be up later in the day. And so some of my older people, I try to get a hold of earlier in the day and reserve some of my younger ones for 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, who won't be offended when you reach out at that time of night. Like someone at age 75 may not appreciate an 8 p.m. phone call. Someone who's 25, they don't care. It's not a big deal. So I try to be on those dials by about 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. And how about what type of objections? Now, first of all, let's talk about your leads that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of give us a breakdown of what type of leads you're using to make the telesales. Are you using Facebook or are you using
I'm using a mix.
leads?
I do have Facebook leads, the social media leads. I have my GMR leads, which include the mortgage protection and the final expense, and their multi-A leads. And then I have my current clients, my referrals, and I have a stack, and actually I should have pulled it over, that I pulled out right when this whole lockdown happened. And I don't know what you guys call it, but I call it sat, not sold. So for the past 4 years of running business, I have a stack of leads, and it's embarrassing how thick. When I got it all together, I'm like, I am not that good at this. I have a lot more sat, not sold than I do clients. But at any rate, we all got to learn somehow. But these are all the people I've sat with in the last 4 years that I did not close. And so I'm calling every one of them back. All my think about it's not worth it, or that's too much money. All those people. And when I get to looking at it, I'm not the same agent I was 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I'm a better agent now. I can better serve them now. And they're not in the same place either. Maybe their thought processes are different. So I'm using that as well. So anything that I have that has a name and a number on it, I'm dialing it. That's what it comes down to. So I do not discriminate among what I'm dialing there. So that's my mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. And we have a question from Marie, and she's wanting to know, just kind of do your breakdown on how you're doing your presentation in the home. What kind of script are you using?
It is very similar to that Chris Long script. Yeah, it's very similar to the Chris Long script. It took me a little while to adapt it from my regular phone script, but where my regular phone script, there's 5 elements to a good phone script: your introduction, your purpose, you book the appointment, you tie it down, and you set the expectation. And that's kind of the pattern that it follows. Well, now when I get to the point where I would normally book the appointment, I just step into running the appointment. And I tell them this is the way it works. And I use phraseology like that all the way through the phone call. So, when I call someone for the first time, hi, this is Belle. I'm calling you back about that paperwork you sent in to us asking for the final expense plans. And I've been assigned as your case manager. So right there, I told them I told them who I was and why I'm calling, right? And then, so I've been assigned as your case manager, and it's just my job to kind of do a pre-screen on you to see all these programs, which ones you're eligible for, and see if we can't get you taken care of. And that's it. And they either remember or they don't. If they don't remember, we talk them through it, just like you would on anything else. And it's okay. Now this is how it works. I'm just going to ask you some health and lifestyle questions, and that's going to let us know what all you're eligible for. Once we know everything you're eligible for, then we can talk details. So let's just figure out your eligibility first, and then we'll get into all the nuts and bolts of it. And I just start, building rapport and asking those questions as we go. But as long as you tell the client what's going to happen, they follow along, because they don't know how it works. They don't know we're doing something different. They don't know I was supposed to come over and now I'm doing it over the phone. They don't know that. And so, and I even tell them, hey, we are trying to do a lot of this, remotely now because of the stay home order. But if you're patient with me, I'll be patient with you, and we'll get through this process together. Some of my appointments have taken 3 hours trying to talk both 80-year-olds through a digital signature process on 2 different types of applications. And you literally just got to take a deep breath, because we always feel that urgency, especially I did, because my mindset was it's a dial day. I got to go, go, go. But it's not a dial day anymore. It is a connect day. How many people can I connect with day? And so instead of pushing for 40 dials an hour or 50 dials an hour or whatever, now it's let's be patient and walk. I've got one. It's like fishing, right? When you got one on the line, be patient, reel it in, do whatever it takes to bring that to completion. Don't worry about the next dial. Don't worry about the next time frame. Love the one you're with and get through that. I've had some that have gone very quickly. They're very tech savvy, done, no problem. One of the things I enjoy the most now, and this is going to sound so crazy, is that my no sales are so much faster. Whereas before I had to drive there, do the in-home, go through the process. They're not going to buy for whatever reason, then drive to the next. I can get a no sale now in 30 minutes or less, and I'm on to the next like nobody's business. So it has condensed that time frame. A no-show, no big deal. It didn't take me an hour to get no-showed because I drove 30 minutes there, and now I got to drive 30 minutes back the other way. I get a no-show in like 30 seconds. And then I'm moving on to the next. So I love that it has condensed those time frames as well. So
I love it, man. You are giving out some really good nuggets. That's super powerful. Talk to us a little bit about how you deal with, why do you need my Social Security? Objections on the phone as you're going through the process.
Okay. I have not gotten the objection of the Social Security number yet. By the time we get to the application, I have asked them so many questions. It's as if they probably believe I already know their Social Security number, and I'm just verifying it by that point. I have not had an objection over a Social Security number yet. One of the things I do try to do, if we are doing the appointment by video, which some of them have worked that way and some of them it just hasn't worked out that way, You can try very hard, but on the other end, they have to be able to function some electronics, and sometimes that doesn't work. If I'm doing it by video, I'll do a screen share so that they can see the application as I'm going through it. So they see the carrier logo on there, they see the process. So it's not a big surprise. Anytime you fill out any paperwork for anything, you got to put your basic information on there, and this is just part of it.
Awesome. We have some other questions. Are you getting one phone call close?
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm getting some that I do have to bam fam and follow up with. Those are usually the larger cases. I'm getting some, again, typically when I write business, I write a lot of apps, and my average premium on most of those is probably around $750 annual premium. But right now I do have some people that are more motivated. And so I'm getting some larger premium apps, and people spending over $250 to $400 a month. Those are 2 phone call close. Those are the ones that want to just take a minute, and I don't blame them. That's a lot of money. I feel better them taking a minute, because then I know I'm not going to get a charge back after that first payment comes out. And so the majority of mine are 1 phone call closes.
Okay. What other questions do you guys have out there? And feel free to unmute and ask a question, and get on video. Oh, Mike says no. You just chat your questions. Be easier. We've got some good questions here, but I was thinking, do you, when you kind of begin your day, do you set up like, I'm going to do this many phone calls, I'm going to write this many apps? What do you think about? What is your mindset there?
Well, again, it's had to shift a little bit, because on my dial day, I would get up and I have a certain playlist of songs I listen to. I have an app on my phone, Verse of the Day. So I make sure that I connect spiritually, with my faith system. And so I do psych myself up for the day ahead. It is a little different now, spending all day in my office. And so when I come in, my goal is to help as many people as I can. And I want to run at least 6 appointments. The number that I close will be the number that I close, but I want to run at least 6 appointments. And so that's my goal. And whether I'm getting a no sale or I'm getting a sale, that's what I'm aiming for. To be honest, I want to be more effective in telesales than I am in home sales, because my timeline's condensed. So what may have taken me 12 hours to do before can take me 6 hours now, because there's no drive time in between. And so that's honestly my goal. I figure if I can run 6 appointments a day, 5 days a week, that's 30 appointments sat. So if you can sit 30 appointments a week, we were talking about trying to book 20. Now we have the opportunity to sit 30, because we have more time in our schedule to do it. So that's kind of my mindset on there. And I don't want to walk away from my office too early. Sometimes that can be a challenge for me. Come 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's like, it's getting kind of late. And, I'm not a tech savvy person. So talking people through the e-signature processes and stuff, it stresses me out too. I feel just as stressed as the client does. But I have to remind myself to keep going. If I have not run my 6, I need to keep going until I hit it, or it becomes obscenely late and people would just be mad at me. So that is my goal, is to run 6 a day for 30 a week.
That is fabulous. I love that. I love that. Run 6 appointments a day. And if you do that between 7 and 3, you get to leave early, right?
Yep.
Pretty cool. But you don't have to if you don't want to. You can keep going if you want to,
It's kind of like being at the casino when you're hot, you don't want to leave the table. So you just want to keep on going, and then when you've had a rough day in there, that's the other thing. For one, you can step away and take a break. You can step away and just go get something to drink, step outside on the porch, take a deep breath, and then get back to it. And it doesn't take for me, driving is stressful. I don't know. Some people love to drive. I do not. Being out here in the Seattle area, I do not love driving. So I don't have to be in that pressure cooker anymore. And the freedom and flexibility that I have right now, I actually feel kind of spoiled about it. And Jake has even said, he's like, don't get too used to this because, when we're allowed to get back out in the field. I'm like, I know. But I'm going to embrace what is. I'm not going to worry about what we can't do. I'm going to figure out the things we can do, and I'm going to embrace those with all I've got. And so I really think that's the most advantageous way to move forward. The same with sitting 30 appointments. I've never sat 30 appointments in a week, but I'll be dadgum if this ain't the opportunity to make it happen, because no sales are happening faster. So you can spend more time on the ones that are a sale.
I love that thought process. There was something else I was going to ask you. Mike, do you have something on your mind?
I just want to know how the deposits are going. Are they going okay?
The deposits are going quite well. I do have to say this past week was my daughter's 19th birthday and our 26th anniversary. So we took some extra time off this past week. Couldn't really go anywhere or anything, but we did some fun stuff as a family. And because we have a team, because we've built a team and are building a team, I didn't have to worry about income, because one of the days I took off, Tim Long on our team out in Savannah, Georgia, I took that day off, but he wrote over $8,000 that day. So I figured the overrides will make up for, whatever I didn't go out and do that day. So I was pretty excited about that.
I love the thought process. 30 appointments, sit on 30 appointments and get up and start at 7:30 in the morning and stay in the office. What about, I know we've talked about objections. I know we've talked about your schedule now. You talk to us a little bit about your appointments that you're doing by video. You use something called what?
Whereby. Yes. The reason we chose to use Whereby over Zoom is because it doesn't require a download. And again, if you're running any final expense appointments, that can be complicated for our seniors on the other side. Maybe they're only working on a smartphone or a tablet and they've got different blockers on. And so it's a free account. You set it up, you send them the link, they click the link and they're automatically into the video conference. So it's very simple. However, some people on their default settings, on the privacy settings, have their cameras and microphones blocked and they don't know how to unblock them. And so even though we're using the simplest video interfacing option out there, sometimes it's still not going to work. And so you just have to, okay, no problem. I want to text you over a picture of my credentials. I'm going to text you over, a list of the different providers that we work with. And you just kind of text those pictures over and you work through it anyways. So I do love it when we can do video. I think that does make it more personal. It makes it real. You can tell someone all day long you're not a telemarketer or anything like that and that you're local, but if they haven't seen you, it doesn't feel that way. And some of the other things I'm doing to help with my persistency is the follow-up phone calls on a status update. So 2 days later, I'm going to give them a status update. It's either been approved or, hey, it's got some issues, or they're still, processing it. And then I'm going to call them again once it is definitely approved or declined. That happens too. And follow up. And then I'm going to tell them when to expect the policy in the mail. Hey, I'm going to put a note on here to call you in 10 mailing days. See if you've gotten it. If you get it before then, great. Reach out to me. But that's okay if you forget. I'm going to call you in 10 mailing days. And so it's those little touches along the way to make you their guy, to be a central part in their, in the process. Don't let them just forget you.
I love that. And I know we've gone over, but one last question. What about, are you trying to get the ERS list while you are on the phone?
I am. And then sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. If we've been on there 3 hours just trying to get through a signature, then I do save that for when I follow up with them with a status update. Because right now I have so many people to call right now. Even if they give me the ERS, I got to prioritize that over the other things I have. And I've got a lot of volume right now. But it is important that, and I tell them, hey, we're gonna set up your emergency response system when I call you back. It's very important we have that, so if anything happens to you, we can make sure to get a hold of your daughter, or however that person has their policy set up. And so I set the framework for it, even if I don't do it in that moment. It's exhausting for them to be on a call for 3 hours, just like it's exhausting for us. We don't want to wear out our welcome. We don't want them so frustrated with us that they've spent all day with us. So, but yes, that is a component of what we're doing. Whether we can get it on the first call or if we have to do it on a follow-up call, it's still an important component of what we're doing.
Well, Belle, I know that everyone has taken a ton of notes, and I know that you have other things on your calendar to do, but we certainly appreciate you being on our call. Anything we can do for you, please let us know. We're happy to help.
I just
Mike?
appreciate you and Mike so much. Michelle, you lead the way. Again, being asked to be on your call is just like, it blows my mind. So I appreciate it. I'm like, what in the world do I have that Michelle ain't already got times 10? So
We all can learn something new all the time, Belle, all the time. So, hey guys.
thanks so much for having me, guys.
Do not forget tomorrow's call at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Sales meeting, look out for it on Slack. We'll be sending all that out for you. Okay, make sure you're getting on that as soon as you can. We're excited about everything that's going on in the business. If y'all did not pick up some notes on this thing and really made a decision, like, here's what I'm going to do now, here's how I'm going to make this thing happen, then you're going to get to go back through and listen to this call, because we'll post it as soon as it comes out. All right, guys. Hey, y'all get out there and make it a great day, and we'll talk to y'all again soon.